Hi, this is Scott Shepard of Scott Shepard Photography, Watertown, South Dakota, and welcome to another installment of what I call Backstage Pass. And this is a short demonstration of some of the thinking and processes that go into taking photos that often end up on my blog. And today's photo is an ordinary rose, which was posted, as you can see here, on March 7th. 2013. So let me show you a little bit about that particular photo session. First of all, you're going to notice that there are a whole lot of flower pictures here, mostly of the same single rose, because that's what I had. I know that I talk about the decisive moment from time to time and how we should be careful in terms of how we frame things, but I have to tell you that the reason that I have 283 pictures of the same rose, or more or less of the same rose, I guess I did have a daisy for a while, is that I was playing and experimenting, which is to say that I was learning. And so there were a lot of variations that were going into this, and I was looking for a particular look. Let me narrow this down to the actual photo that is the photo that ended up on the blog. And I just want to say that this is a photo in the series, not the photo that ended up being edited. Just wanted you to notice that there is a gray card there. And without belaboring this, gray card is an important thing because even though we may think we understand color and see color right, we don't always get it right. And the gray card will let us get it right every time. And so what I'm just doing is I'm lifting the white balance from that particular photo and I'm applying it to that one. Now what's interesting is that it's really hard to see that I did apply white balance to the photo that I ended up editing, but I did. Now there's the photo unedited, other than that the white balance is now fixed. There's the photo with a few simple adjustments, and it is a lot better. There is one difference in this photo, and I'll have to tell you about that if you didn't see it. It required Photoshop. And then this is the final photo, cropped, and actually this one is cropped and ready for my desktop, not cropped for my blog. So let's go back to this first photo. In my workflow, I always look at levels, and levels are really kind of a mess here. And if I believed in adjusting levels by just, and this shows that it's underexposed, which as I can see on the screen it is. If I just tried to drag that all the way over there, you're going to notice that that doesn't do justice to it. So in this particular case, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to boost exposure here. And this is really a little bit of an intuitive process, not particularly scientific. The other thing that I want to do is that I would like to boost vibrancy, not saturation. Red, incidentally, is a very complicated color in the digital photography world, if you ask me. And if I just boosted saturation, you'll notice that it really ends up looking kind of orange, and I don't like that. So I'm going to boost vibrancy, which really is boosting some of the reds and, more importantly, some of the green that's in the background. The other thing I'm going to do is add sharpening to this, and in particular edge sharpening. There are a lot of different sharpening tools in Aperture, and this is a really subtle sort of effect here. What I would like you to look at really is the reflection of the softbox, which by the way has a honeycomb grid on it. And if you look there when I uncheck that, oops, that was level, sorry. If you look there when I uncheck the edge sharpen, you might see just a little bit of a change. And quite honestly, that's one of the 1,000 unseen details. It is better with the sharpening applied, but the secret is to not over sharpen. I might also add another sharpening effect to it. I'm going to back this off. And that does make the grid, the lines, the difference between dark and white a lot more visible here. The last thing that I'm going to do here is that I'm going to brush in definition But I'm going to do it selectively, and so that's why I'm using the brush. And this is one of the really nice features of Photoshop, of Aperture. Photoshop has brushes, and I'm sure that there is a definition brush there. And I'm really just going to try to increase the definition in the pattern that shows up in the water drops. Now, somebody else might not want to call attention to these particular details, but I happen to like the reflection, especially in the highly focused water drops. Now, if you ask, well, how do I pick the ones to provide definition in? The answer is I'm just picking the bigger ones there, and I'm going to call that one good. Now, in the composition of this flower, considering the rule of thirds, this was a really complicated thing, because if you'll notice, the focal plane is really right in through here. Even though if you look at the grid, apply the crop tool to this just so you can see rule of thirds. Let's get the 2-3 grid. You'll notice that the rule of thirds shows that there should be something there or there or there. I'm not sure that the rule of thirds is going to help me on this one, but I am conscious of what I want my viewer to see. And here's the deal. I did not control where these water drops ended up. The spray bottle I used just ended up putting them where they were. And I felt that this one water drop actually brought the eye down too low in the flower, and I wanted to really move the focal point up here. And so what I did is that I round tripped this in Photoshop, and I moved the water drop to that point right there. So that's the original. That's where the water drop ended up. Well, the only thing that was left to do on this particular picture was to crop it and export it, as I do for my blog, in a low-resolution file. And I ended up with the post that you see here, called An Ordinary Rose. And so that's how I fixed this picture so that I could present it. Hope this helps. Thanks for listening.